In this video, we have a Tippmann X7 Phenom that has a firing issue. The symptom of this particular Phenom is that it fires in the mechanical mode, but does not fire in the electronic mode. I'm going to just kind of demonstrate that for you. Now you can hear the clicking in the E-grip. So we know that the electronics are working, it's just not firing the gun every single time. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off by just removing our tank. And you're not going to want to fire the gun in this process. You're just going to want to unthread your tank. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to remove our grip frame just by removing our push pins. Go ahead and set our grip frame off to the side. Now, while we're looking at the underside of the valve assembly, you can see that we have a brass nut, and we also have our trigger pin. That's what causes the gun to fire. So if that trigger pin, if the pin plug, which is the brass piece, if it's unthreaded from the valve body, it can still operate in the mechanical mode, but it will not shoot correctly in the electronic mode. So I'll show you how to fix that. You're going to want to use a small pair of needle noses so you can actually grab that pin. Now, it's going to be a little bit harder because the trigger pin plug is actually somewhat unthreaded from the valve body. And that pin, there's a little exposure there to where you can actually grab it. Now you're just going to grab the trigger pin and just remove it. We'll go ahead and set that off to the side. And then with a 1/8 Allen key, you are going to tighten up the trigger pin plug. And you just want to make sure it's nice and snug. You want to be careful not to over tighten this part because, you know, it is brass. It's a little bit softer material and you can easily strip out that plug. Then from there, you can go back through and just kind of inspect your pin. Just make sure that it's not bent. You can just kind of rotate it and see that this particular pin isn't bent. And I usually just like to add a little dab of the grease that we provide in our accessory pack onto the tip of this pin and then reinsert it back into the trigger pin plug. And then from there, you're going to be able to reinstall your grip frame. And make sure you reinstall your push pins. And then we can thread our bottle back on. And you can see that it now works in the electronic mode. And that's how you diagnose a firing issue with your Tippmann X7 Phenom.